great afternoon. It's your girl Key. Vulnerability is key. If I gift someone with my vulnerability, if I like them, I develop feelings for them. I am, by virtue of that, becoming vulnerable and susceptible to that person. So if I gift you my vulnerability, I'm going to pay close attention to how you handle that. If you are abusive, if you manipulate, if you take that for something that means that you can control, or if you take advantage of my vulnerability, I am getting a wealth of feedback that I need to consolidate and then make a decision about. Because whatever intimate relationship we have, there is going to be a degree of vulnerability, I believe, unless we are dealing with someone who may have experienced a trauma, and so they may not necessarily be available to you at an emotional level. Or it could also be someone who might have autism, who might be on the spectrum. That means that they may not feel in the same way. But generally, across the board, if I am in an intimate relationship with someone who I perceive to be emotionally available, we have to pay close attention, because being vulnerable is incredibly important. And I know that is almost counter to what we've been taught about being strong and not letting people see your weakness, or not allowing people to take our vulnerability, to abuse our vulnerability. However, if you deliberately choose, consciously choose, even though you're uncomfortable, you feel fearful, to be brave enough, bold enough, and courageous enough to be vulnerable with somebody, you are then getting a wealth of information back. You will then get data back that enables you to make an informed choice. Ooh, can I trust that individual? Is that individual worthy? How did he respond when I asked X, Y, Z? How did I feel? Now, we know that that will make us tremble and we'll feel uncomfortable. However, when we're not woke, when we're not aware that we are vulnerable in relationships, it may mean that we try to act super hard. And if you're a Care Bear, if it's not against your nature, you're gonna be going against yourself. So my encouragement to you is, ask the difficult questions. You know, asking the difficult questions is actually a part of vulnerability, because often we can avoid asking difficult questions, and then sometimes months, even years later, the truth starts to manifest itself. And if you're anything like how I was when I was my old self, I would then be like, oh, well, I always knew, but I didn't trust my instincts, or I didn't ask the questions. So when I say to you that vulnerability is key, it is absolutely fundamental to your relationships, because it's through that process that you get to understand whether that person is worthy of your vulnerability. So my encouragement to you is, like, ask the difficult questions. Ask somebody, what do they want for the relationship? Lay your cards on the table. That's actually a part of being vulnerable, by saying, you know what, I'd like to get married. I'd like to move in together. I'd like to settle down. Like, how refreshing would it be to come to somebody with that much clarity about what you want? Because one of the issues that I see time and time again is that from the get-go, we are not clear with people about what our intentions are. And so because we kind of leave it to chance, or we hope that that person will know where we're coming from, we end up doing ourselves a great disservice. But not only that, we end up losing our power. How do we lose our power? We lose our power because we're giving the power to that individual to decide. So we're then on the back foot, hoping, wishing, never asking if they are on the same page. And I think it's very fair to say, in the culture that we are in, of hookups and friends with so-called benefits, it's important we pay close attention to this, because I think there's only a certain amount of getting drilled out that is beneficial. I think there comes a point in time when you want to settle down and you want commitment and you want more. I believe that's only natural. If you don't agree, fair enough. I respect your opinion. We're all entitled to it. So my encouragement is to go into your vulnerability and then notice what comes back, because we can't avoid that. I was recently asked a question about how do I not be vulnerable in relationships. Well, that's not an option. As long as you're in a relationship, you're going to be vulnerable. That's a fact. You can't negate that. So why try to strategize against that? That's going to be going against the whole premise of being in an intimate relationship. Because to my mind, if I'm in an intimate relationship with someone, with someone of substance, then it's only natural that I will be vulnerable. No? It's only natural that will be a prerequisite of the relationship. So my encouragement to you is accept that. Of course we feel vulnerable. Of course you're going to feel vulnerable to somebody when you like them and you have feelings for them and you want more than them. That's a given. Trying to act tough like leather, like you don't have feelings, is going against your nature. So when you notice that you feel the vulnerability, accept that, and then develop the braveness, the boldness, the courageousness to ask the questions so that you can see how that person responds. You can see whether you're on the same page, and you can see if that person is worthy of your gift. I hope that's of benefit to you. Remember, do take care of you, because if you don't, no one else will.